everybody. It's Georgia Rose, and I am in the Soul Space. I'm here every Monday night at 7 o'clock on Strong Island Television and Zencuda Soul Space. And of course, if you have to leave or you come in late, you can always replay my podcast on Spotify and all podcast platforms, even my YouTube channel, Zencuda. And I am even on Friday afternoons at noon. You can have lunch with me if you tune into Optimum Cable. So welcome to the show. I am here, like I said, every Monday night in the Zencuda community, and this is the Soul Space podcast. Our aim on the podcast every Monday night is to bring together a community of like-minded and like-hearted souls who are all on the journey of self-discovery. We talk about astrology, and sometimes I pull tarot cards, which I'm probably going to do tonight. And if you put your birth date with time and place in the comments and tune in next week, we may just pull your chart to read live on the show. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the retrograde that we have. Mercury retrograde just started today, April Fool's Day. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the solar eclipse. And then we'll probably go to cards. So I'd love to see your comments, how you're doing. If you celebrated Easter this past Sunday, how that went. Let me say hi to some people on board. I'm just going to share the show really quickly because I know that everybody likes to see the show, and I'm going to share that. And, it's always a good idea to, if you can, share the show because we want to get as many people we can in the Zencuda community and as many people as we can on this path to their soul space. So I have one more share I got to do, and then I'll be all yours for at least the next 50 minutes or so. Here we are. So it's been a bit of a hectic week. The energy that came in with this Mercury retrograde actually speeded us up the last few days. And now it's going to make things pretty wonky. So I'll start off with talking about that. Let me see who's in the it's going to make things pretty wonky. So I'll start off with talking about that. I was listening to something before the show, so it came on. I got Stephanie Kalanoff in. Hey, Stephanie, long time no see. Ha, ha, ha. Just saw Stephanie yesterday. Kim Murray, how are you doing? And Marianne Sabatino. I've got Marie Laverne on. I got Joanne, Colleen. Yeah, we're going to do cards the last half of the show, so definitely stay tuned. Haven't done cards on the show in a while, so I thought I would do some tonight. And don't forget, guys, if you haven't had your chart read on the show yet, I do live chart readings just off the cuff. I usually pick one or two on the last half of the show every once in a while. So if you put your birth date with time and place in the comments on this show, you may get chosen for next week's show. And if you're not subscribed to Zencuda YouTube or my social media at Zencuda Official on Instagram and Zencuda Soul Space on Facebook, make sure you do that. Okay. So I want to talk about this Mercury retrograde because I feel like Mercury retrogrades always get a bad rap. People are like, oh no, it's Mercury retrograde. Don't sign anything. Don't, buy a car. Don't go to court. Don't get any surgery. Don't do anything. Don't leave your house. Get provisions, right? It's like COVID all over again. Well, that's so untrue. The reason why all planets go retrograde is because whatever the energy of the planet is, during a retrograde, the planet is oftentimes closer to Earth, and it will amplify the energy. Mercury retrogrades are very popular because they are the and most known because they're the most popular. Mercury retrogrades happen a lot more frequently. Mercury is a fast-moving planet, and it goes into retrograde. So what is a retrograde? Retrograde doesn't mean that the planet goes backwards. Planets never go backwards. That does not happen. What happens is it's actually an optical illusion. If you've ever been in your car and you've gone to pull in a parking spot while somebody's pulling out, or maybe you're on a plane taxiing on a runway and there's another plane going the opposite direction, and for a minute you think you're going backwards, that's a retrograde. A retrograde motion is actually, if you think of like an S, because the planet will be going forward and then it feels like it goes backwards and then forwards. And what happens is it's really not going backwards. It's the rotation of the Earth that is changing while the planet slows down. So it feels like it's going back, but it's not really. But the reason why that old time saying good things happen in threes or things happen in threes, it's actually because of retrogrades. Because when a planet is retrograde, it will go over the same point in the zodiac or in our chart 3 times. For instance, if right now, I'm going to just bring up the chart of the moment just so I can see my own notes. But right now, Mercury is retrograde in Aries. And right now on today's chart, Mercury is at 27 degrees. Now, Chiron is at 19 degrees. Mercury is not going to go past Chiron, but if it was during this Mercury retrograde, it would do it 3 times because the planet passes over when it's in its stationary period going forward. And then as, we on the planet Earth start to move faster and Mercury slows down, it'll pass that degree again. And then when the planet Mercury starts to go more forward and faster, really faster, not forward, it will pass it again. And that's why the old saying of things happen in threes, because when Mercury is retrograde or a planet is retrograde, it will cross over the certain point 3 times. And so right now that will happen with Mercury in the last degrees of Aries. So if you look on your chart and you have any planets or any angles at the last degrees of Aries, you're really going to feel this retrograde because Mercury will pass over that point in your chart 3 times while it's going, then when we slow down, and then come back again. So it's kind of like if you're in a revolving chair and you see a point, and then that point passes you, and then you catch up to it. It's the same thing. You're going to do it 3 times. So right now, the reason why this Mercury retrograde is very potent is because April is probably the most potent and most powerful month of the year for many different reasons. Number one, we have a cluster of planets all in Pisces and Aries right up against each other. So if you want to get a free chart off of astro.com, you can look to see where that is in your chart, in your birth chart, and what houses that's in. And that's where all this activity is going to take place. So this Mercury retrograde is in Aries, and right now we have the Sun in Aries, Chiron in Aries, Mercury in Aries, and the North Node of the Moon in Aries. Now, when we start talking about the eclipse, which happens on the 8th of Aries, 8th of April this month, you're going to also have the Moon there. So that's a lot of Aries energy. What does that mean? Well, the archetype of Aries and Aries energy is all about new emergence. It's about new direction. It's about new evolutionary intention and energy emerging. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac, and it has to do with our relationship with ourself. Aries is all about, where do I want to take up space in my life? What do I want to spend my time doing? Where do I want to show up? Where am I fully present? Where do I want to be present? What makes more sense to me to spend time in, take up space at? So remember, if you go back into my other podcasts recently, we talked about the lunar eclipse in Libra. Now, this Aries solar and the lunar Libra eclipse are all about relationships, relationship with ourself, the other, and then back to the self, because that's how we configure our balance and ourselves in our life. That's how we configure our own belief systems. Our identity is through each other and then back to the self for introspection, etc. So when we have Mercury retrograde in a sign like Aries, where it's all about new energy and new direction and new emergence, independence, it's also ruled by Mars, which is action, our aggression, our assertion, our ambition. When we have a planet like Mercury, which is the planet of communication, going retrograde or slowing down in that energy, it can be frustrating because Aries is the ram. It wants to charge in and go forward and find something new and be a pioneer. And when Mercury is retrograde, it's glitchy, it's stilted, it can't connect the dots. So you can see how this is going to be a very frustrating energy. It will last until officially April 25th, Mercury comes out of retrograde, but that retrograde period does extend because the planet is still in what we call the shadow of the retrograde. So that's the first energy we have this month because it happens on April 1st. But then we have all those other planets in Aries. And so what's going to happen is, as the Pisces energy, right now we have, I'm looking at the chart, we have Mars, Saturn, Venus, and Neptune all in Pisces. And they're moving towards Aries. And as they move towards Aries, then the Aries planets will move out of Aries and they'll take up that space. But what happens, because the planets travel at different speeds, some of those planets are going to do what we call a conjunction, and they'll come together in the same space in the zodiac because there's so many planets conjuncted all in this bottleneck of the zodiac. It's literally a bottleneck of energy, but it makes it all that much more potent because think about it. For instance, Mars is going to conjunct Saturn. Saturn is the planet of authority, of structure, of rules, it's framework, it's boundaries, it's structure, it's our conditioning, what we're taught to do and not to do. Mars is our action, it's our independence, it's our ambition, it's our wanting to, get our desires, right? When those two planets come together, what's the conversation? Mars says, "Hey, I want to do this because this is what I really feel like is important to me. And this is like a burning desire for me to accomplish. And I want to, hit the gas pedal." And Saturn says, "But wait, you can't do that because you have rules. I'm the authority here and I'm your boundary. And you're not, Mars, you're not going to go out of bounds because I got a wall up here." So Mars hits the brakes. And as these planets tango and dance, depending on how quickly each moves over the next few weeks, that's the energy of April. And that sets up this beautiful dilemma as we approach the eclipse, because the Mercury retrograde starts out a little bit of the frustration. Then we've got Mars coming into a connection with Saturn that makes it even more heightened. And we've got all this other energy coming in and building to the eclipse. We also have in the sign of Taurus, Jupiter and Uranus coming into a big conjunction. They have not been in a conjunction in Taurus in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So that energy is Jupiter, expansion, Uranus, sudden unexpected change in a sign of Taurus, which is our security, safety, and resources. That's all happening in April with all this other conjunction of planets. We've got conjunctions this month. We've got, as I said, in Aries, we've got Sun, Mercury, North Node, and Chiron. If you have a birthday this month, if you have a moon in Aries, if you have an ascendant in Aries, big energy for you, especially that North Node in Chiron, which actually conjuncts right during the April 8th eclipse. Chiron is the planet where we have wounds that have not been revealed or wounds that we take in through other lifetimes. Chiron is the healer and the healing. So when we have an eclipse with the North Node of the moon with Chiron there, then come April 8th, when that eclipse comes, it's not just going to be a beautiful new energy of emergence in Aries, where we suddenly, the sun and moon shows us what our path is, and we suddenly are able to connect the dots more. It's also all about our healing. It's about where have we kept in the vault, hidden, what we never brought it to the surface to heal. It's about forgiving ourselves. It's about forgiving others for not learning what we know, right? That's a huge thing. People say to me all the time, someone did this horrible thing to me. How can I forgive them? And what it really is you have to learn to forgive someone for not learning what you already knew, what you already know. That's really when we get hurt or when someone hurts us because they don't know better. So that energy is all the Aries energy coming in. And then on the behind of that, we got all this Pisces energy coming in with Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, which is going to start moving towards those Aryan planets. So the way it's going to go is we start out the month with the Mercury retrograde. I'm just going to look at my notes. We've got 9 planets, 9 conjunctions, 9 separate planets conjuncting this month. That is like unheard of. And that's a lot of potent packed energy, because sometimes when planets conjunct, they amplify each other, and sometimes there's resistance. So the first one I think is on the 3rd. Just let me check my book here. Yeah, on the 3rd, Venus and Neptune come together. So today we have Mercury retrograde. We're feeling a little uncomfortable. Things are glitchy. That's going to also be in Aries this month, a redo. Make sure you check your travel plans. Yes, you can sign contracts and you can buy cars. I don't suggest getting any drastic plastic surgery or tattoos because you'll probably hate them for the rest of your life. But all Mercury retrograde means is be careful, use your brain, use your common sense, think before you act, read it twice, check it twice, call the airport before you leave, check the traffic weather before you leave, because the purpose of a Mercury retrograde is to slow us down so that we are more present. And what does the Aries energy mean, guys? Where do you want to take up space? Where do you want to be present? So this is going to be a really serious Mercury retrograde. The other thing this Mercury retrograde is really going to amplify in our lives is our communication. So definitely make sure you have someone check your grammar, your punctuation, another pair of eyes on any presentations you have to do. But also before you post, before you email, really check, because this is the type of environment where those things can get sent to the wrong person and wreak havoc. So that's how we start out. And then, like I said, we have the Venus and Neptune conjunction just a couple of days after. That happens on Wednesday. And when Venus and Neptune come together in the sky, that makes us dreamy. It makes us ethereal. It makes our values kind of like hard to pinpoint, hard to feel. It's not really too attached to reality. All right. When we have a Venus, Neptune, it's all about the dream, the desires, the fantasy. We can really get caught in illusion here. So now that coming on 2 days into a Mercury retrograde in Aries, I would really watch my communication, because this is a time of the month that you could like really say something that's either so far out of left field, or something where you have this fantasy and you go and profess your love for someone, or you have this fantasy and you start telling somebody how you want to quit your job and climb Mount Everest. It's a very is a very ethereal, dreamy energy where it's really hard to like anchor in. What I would suggest for the middle of the week is to probably try and ground, especially Wednesday. It's going to be a really dreamy day. We'll feel a little out of it and things like that. Be careful driving. And then right the next day, the next thing is Venus goes into Aries and the energy really changes, because Venus in Pisces is an energy of dreams. I know I have been like dreaming like crazy. Like I wake up in the morning and I feel like I've run a marathon all night. I have so many dreams. That will stop now towards the end of this week, because when Venus goes into Aries, it's going to kind of ground us a little bit more. Venus in Aries is action. It's, Venus is what we desire. Mars is how do we get it? And Aries is ruled by Mars. So as soon as Venus goes into Aries, it's like, I want that, and I'm going to leap over this chair because I'm getting it, or that's what I want. How do I do it? I'm going to take the midnight train to get there. That's Venus and Aries. However, we've got a lot of energy this month because of that Mercury retrograde. And also, Mars is heading into a conjunction with Saturn. Remember, our driver, our action, our ambition hits the wall, the authority. So it's a lot of push-pull energy. This whole month, we're going to feel like we're really getting it. We're really getting it. We understand it now. We're seeing clarity. We know what we have to do. But wait, I can't seem to do it. Or we get the instruction manual and we have it all in our head. We're going home to put the coffee table together. And then we get home and we're like, wait, what was that third thing I had to do again? Right? That's what happens. Or you start to put the coffee table together and you're going really great. And then you get the phone call, Jupiter, Uranus conjunction. And it's like, you have to come over right away. Mom fell in the house. So it's a very frustrating month, but it's also a month where we, especially towards this eclipse, have deep, deep healing that will take place. Whether you're consciously aware of it or not, we are all, since the March 25th eclipse in Libra, we are all ready to grow out of certain attachments and identity from our past. This is a very momentous time in our lives when we have a very serious ability to do things differently, especially in regards to relationship and behaviors. This is a time when we will be letting go of past identities that no longer serve us. We will be letting go of things that we need to outgrow in order to reach the maturity and find the love in our life and the joy in our life that we really want. Very, very pivotal, pinnacle, evolutionary, emerging time, especially around this eclipse. This eclipse is an eclipse with the north node of the moon in Aries with Chiron. This is an eclipse where we have the power, if we take time to be introspective and allow what's deeply hidden within us to come out, where we can finally have those aha moments we only dream of. This is a time when the things that are so deeply in our way, the things that are so deeply our blocks, the blind spots that we have, that we don't even know about. This is a time when we can absolutely resolve them But what we have to do is spend time in stillness, go back, allow the past to come in. You know, those things that happen to us that cause trauma or cause wounds or even cause fear that blocks us from living our full potential. Sometimes we don't want to go there and we don't want to admit those things to the point where they're so deeply buried we don't know they're there. We're clueless. We don't see them. We don't have a mirror. This is an energy, especially around the eclipse time, when the mirror will show it to you. Will that be easy? No, but you can go back and watch my videos because I've been talking about this time probably since February. And we're here. This is it. This is the event. So, although we have frustration that builds towards this eclipse, this is also a time when we can get clarity and we can really see clearly what's beneath the surface that needs to be healed. You know, this is for all of us who have spent time and energy in our life saying, there's something wrong. There's something not right. There's something in the way. I'm not sure what it is, but something's missing. Or, you know, I really want to do this, but for some reason I never can get to do it. I never get there. This is going to be busted open in this energy, really busted open. This is also an energy where I want to just explain and take a few minutes before we go to cards and things what the energy of Chiron is really about. Because I think if you go online and you start reading about Chiron, you're going to see a lot of memes and a lot of things like Chiron is the wounded healer. Okay, what does that mean? Well, people rationalize that or explain that as people who go into healing work are usually healing themselves. Well, of course, that's true for all of us. You know, when we take a little doggy in from the street, it's because we're healing ourselves and the dog. You know, that's kind of, you know, goes without saying. But Chiron is the wounded healer, but it's also an energy of being healed, but it's healing for teaching and to teach. Chiron was the teacher of Hercules in Greek mythology. And so Chiron is not like Saturn. Saturn comes in to teach us with authority and discipline and limitation. And Saturn will remove something from our life or show us where something is deeply conditioning us to be afraid or to be limited. Saturn will bust up our limited belief systems by taking whatever they represent away. Like if you are extremely materialistic and it's preventing your soul from growing, Saturn will probably come in and take some of that away. If you're in a relationship that's replaying something from the past that is a limitation for you in some way, Saturn eventually, especially during a Saturn return or a Saturn transit, will come in and remove that relationship, all for your higher goods that you have to face that limitation and break through it. Chiron doesn't teach that way. Chiron teaches us through forgiveness. Chiron teaches us to forgive ourselves and to, like I said, forgive the other because they haven't learned what we already know. Chiron teaches us to go back to the past wound, a wound buried so deep that maybe it's not from childhood or not from a past time, but from a time in a different incarnation, a different lifetime. And you've brought that wound in because you didn't heal it in the last life. And Chiron will bring in those deeply karmic things in order to teach us a lesson that our soul needs to learn in order to get to the next level of liberation. So this eclipse is deeply liberating for all of us if we allow that energy to come in. If we fear it, detach from it, block it out, then we miss the boat. And I will tell you, as someone who studied astrology for going on almost 15 years now or better, this is a once in a lifetime energy. And the fact that if you're watching this show, you're alive and you were born to be in this moment in time, in this earth, in this place, exactly where your feet are, there's a reason for that. And I would love to see everyone have an exploration of that and be able to understand and see what that is in the weeks and months to come, because that is a beautiful, beautiful gift from the universe for our soul space. So I'm just going to read some comments. We're going to do some cards. Yep, guys. Happy Monday. Stephanie says she dreamt her mom and I won 1.5 million at the casino. Let's manifest that into reality. Aaron says his Venus is in Aries. Venus is that's why you're so determined, because your desires are ruled by Mars. So you're determined. I remember one of the first readings I ever did with you, Aaron. I said, "Don't be aggressive, be assertive for your higher good," and you've so been doing that. Um, Trish Dwyer. Oh yeah, I love these times too. Actually, I was actually on a mentorship call early this morning. I have mentorship calls, mind mastery calls like at like 6 o'clock in the morning because they're from Sweden, and we were on today with myself and two others, and I had a little bit of a breakthrough that was emotional for me on the mastermind class, and I'm like, kind of choked up and everything, and I said, this is horrible and it sucks, but it's one of the most amazing things because we are in the most beautiful times of evolution in our lives. And it's like that. It's like if you can let yourself just be in, even if, and I know this is going to sound sick a little bit, but even if you can just sit in the pain, sit in the pain. People don't do that. People don't sit in the wound. They wear the wound, right? We all wear the wound. We go to groups, we can talk about the wound and do this and that. And like, like when we're all going through divorces or we're going through loss, we're all like, oh, let me go to bereavement groups. We can all talk about our losses, and let me go, hang out with a bunch of women or men who are all getting divorced so we can, gripe about that. We all sit in the wound, but we do it all to distract ourselves from the pain. And the pain of the wound is what we have to feel. I'm not saying wallow in it by any means, but that's where the teaching is. Because if we don't feel it, we can't grow out of it, and we can't move out of it, and we can't forgive ourselves and the other, and we're stuck in the wound. So this energy is an energy that'll really like propel us forward and liberate us in so many amazing ways. And I said to a very dear friend of mine last night, I said, this is literally, and listen, those of you who know me closely, I've had an amazing life. I've up and down, right? At big extremes. Right now is the most important time of my whole entire life, because I'm moving my energy to something that is so meaningful to me that I'll be doing on a daily basis in the future, and really changing my life that way, and coming into an identity that I never had before, which is so strong in my own authority. And it's just amazing. And there's so many people out there that are telling me the same thing. Darlene says she'll be in Mexico on vacation for the eclipse. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what comes with that. I know people who are actually going upstate New York to see it better. You will be feeling the energy already, Darlene. It's coming in. Eclipse energy usually lasts about 3 to 5 months. So eclipses don't just happen in the day and it's like, oh my God, I'm like have this breakthrough. No, it's a gradual thing. And one of the things I'll talk about for a second before we go, I know I want to go to cards. Manifestation. With heightened energy like this, the ability for us to manifest our dreams into reality, to be able to do that, is so potent and so heightened. And here's how you do it. First of all, you've got to make sure that you're showing the universe what you want. Like I always say, you can't sit on the couch and wish for a job. You got to go out and make a million applications and do your thing, right? You can't sit on the couch and wish that your business is doing well. You better walk the walk. You can't sit on a couch and say you want to be healed when you're not going to PT or doing what the doctor said. That's how we manifest. We have to show the universe, I'm ready for the gift. I'm in the energy already. The second way is, even in this month of energy where we can be frustrated and not be able to see the end game, it's like we're almost going to see the end game, but then we can't see it. Something happens, something comes in, or we're foggy. We're all feeling like that. You have to keep putting one foot in front of the other towards the end game, even if you're not certain what that is. You don't know what home base is, but you're going towards it in some way every day, whatever that is. Like suppose your goal is you want to have a healthier body and mind or whatever. Can't sit on the couch. You've got to every day, even if it's a 10-minute walk, if it's a 5-minute trip to the gym, whatever it is, show the universe you are ready for that change. You are in the energy already, and it will naturally flow to you. I'm building a lot of platforms, media platforms, and all kinds of things now because we're taking the Zencuda Soul Space community to another level, which you'll hear about in the months to come. Great things happening. I get frustrated. Sometimes I don't know exactly where we're creating, what we're doing, where's the connect the dots. But I still keep going because by doing that, I'm telling the universe, here's the natural flow of the energy. Show me where I should be. Every day when I open my eyes, I say, God, please let me hear what I'm supposed to hear, see what I'm supposed to see, and know what I'm supposed to know for my highest good. That's how you manifest. And this energy is so potent. Whatever is on your dream board, pick one or two things and make sure you're in the energy of it. Because when you keep in the energy of it, it will naturally be brought to you in flow. That's how it goes. Relationships in this energy. Cheryl says she got her glasses yesterday. Can this energy also bring about nightmares? I had a doozy Friday night. Yes, many people are having nightmares. That is because of Neptune is in the last degrees of Pisces, and we've got Mercury there, which is our mind, and it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Mercury's in the last degrees of Aries. Neptune is in the last degrees of Pisces, and we've got planets coming close to Neptune. So that's really going to stir up energy, especially if you have any planets in Pisces right now, especially around the last degrees. You're going to have a lot of nightmares, a lot of good dreams. Like Stephanie just dreamt she won 1.5 million, but your brain, your nighttime is going to be very, very active. Dawn Elizabeth says, how about relationships? This is a relationship axis. Aries, Libra. Aries, relationship to self, presence. Where do I want to be presence? Where do I want to take up space? How can I have an independent identity? What is my identity? The first house, Aries, is where the soul discovers the personality. The soul discovers itself. That's Aries' first house energy. That's why this is so potent. Libra energy, the Libra eclipse that we just had, and Aries, Libra are the polarization of the first and seventh house in a natural zodiac. Could be anywhere for you in your sign. Seventh house is all about relationships. It's balance. Libra in balance in relationships does not mean, oh, I need to eat more balanced, or I'm going to go to the gym every Tuesday and Thursday to put balance in my life. That is not what the relationship is. The Aries Libra axis, Libra is how we configure through relationship. It's being in relationship to ourself, another, and then coming back to ourself. That's the balance of Libra. It's got all this pop astrology, pop culture descriptions out there. That's not what Libra's about. Libra is, we have a relationship with ourselves. We go out and interact with others. And then we bring what happens, those experiences, into ourself for introspection. And that's how we configure. That's how we relate to the world, everything in it. By configuring our identity, our likes, our dislikes through the other and back to ourselves. So this is all about relationships. And again, an energy Aries where we are outgrowing the identities, the relationships, and the environments that are not moving us forward. Those past things that have held us back and limited us. So if there's a relationship in your life, typically speaking, in an energy like this, it could be you're a little bit delusional about the relationship and you think it's a lot better than it is. And then basically the shit hits the fan because you're not supposed to be in it because it's really limiting for you and you're confusing your security with restriction. This can also improve relationships if you are in one, or you're in an environment, or you're in a situation, or anything that is bringing you to your soul path. This energy will heighten it and make it even better. So this is all about relationships. And the only other thing I did want to say is April 10th is when that Mars and Saturn conjunction perfect. That's the one I was talking about, where Mars is our action and we want to move forward and get our stuff done and grab everything, and we're being assertive and ambitious. And Saturn is that wall, the authority, like, oh no, 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 no. You can't stand on that chair at the concert. Sit down. That's Saturn. Mars is like, yeah, I'm gonna rock out Van Halen. And then Saturn is like, sit down, right? You can't stand on the chairs in the stadium. So that happens April 10th. Well, guys, what happens April 8th? Solar eclipse in Aries with the North Node in Chiron, bringing up our wounds, bringing up things to heal. We're having revelations. We're finally seeing our path. And then 2 days later, boom, Saturn comes in to give us a little bit of a framework, a little bit of an authority. So, and then it will get better, of course, because then that conjunction moves apart. And then we'll have the clarity and we'll be able to see the trail and where we're headed. Solar eclipses very oftentimes in really back in like the 30,000 BC times and after, solar eclipses, because they didn't know what they were, brought the darkness and the light. It reveals darkness and light. So it was very much to be thought the death of a leader, the death of a king, the death of, the last time, this is true. I'm not making this up. The last time we actually had a solar eclipse at exactly 19 degrees of Aries, which is exactly where this one is taking place, was in April of 2005. And I believe the Pope died around then. So April of 2005, where were you? What were you doing? What was going on? Because we are hitting the exact same place in the zodiac. Now, in 2005, all these planets weren't in Pisces and Aries, but that's where the solar eclipse happened. So this will definitely bring up some of those things. Is that where your wound was, or was there a parallel situation? What was 2005 for you? Really interesting stuff. So we're going to go to cards. Oh, thank you, Anita. Sometimes I feel like I'm being too abstract because I know I have all different levels of astrology on here. But even if you don't study astrology and you're not an astrologer, I think it can really help to hear about energy and how to use it. Like if okay, between April 6th and April 10th, I'm probably going to be, really having some things revealed to me. What should I do with this? Right. So my advice would be, especially this month, if you can, I would really double check every communication, travel, all that stuff. You got to double check it. I would also really have someone double check, or even give myself a 24-hour rule where I'm like not putting posts out or doing anything impulsive, because Aries energy will make us very impulsive. We'll want to do it right away. We may feel really what do you call it, like, if I have to do this today, or else something will happen, I have to do this right away, or somebody will do it first. Like, that's Aries energy. That's your ego. That's not soul. So just, remember that you can take your time. You don't need to do things, lickety split. That's how usually mistakes happen, if you do things that are impulsive. And that's how this energy will really work. So that's my advice: is take your time, be observant, sit with your emotion. Very, very important to sit with your emotion in this energy, because you will want to be impulsive. You don't need to profess your love. You don't need to break up today. You don't need to discipline somebody overly aggressively, and there'll be a lot of, I'm not going to use the word chaos, but there's going to be a lot of eruption out in the collective. So be, vigilant and be observant. So I am going to pull some cards. Don't have a lot of time left. All right. Okay. Got to shuffle, 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 shuffle. Let me see who's on tonight. Gina's on. She called me just before the show, too. I'm going to pull a card for Gina. And I'm going to pull a card for Sarah. Darlene says taxes are due 4/15. Does she have to check all the 1099s for clients? I don't know. Maybe the clients should check them before they give them to you. I'm really big on delegation lately, so I always say I could never get a job in Vegas because I don't shuffle that good. Okay, I'm gonna cut these. Okay, first card's gonna be for Gina Coffin. All right, Gina. What's going on with you? I feel energy. Okay, so I have the Queen of Pentacles. Gina, I don't know if your mom is still alive, but I feel like I'm feeling mother energy around you. And I have the Four of Swords. Yeah. If you're watching, if you could just like let me know if mom is here on the other side, because I'm definitely getting strong mom vibes around you, unless that's your mom vibes. But yeah, the levers. So definitely have a Queen of Pentacle energy and the Four of Swords, which is an energy of quiet repose. Like, I feel like I'm feeling your energy, Gina, and I feel like anxiety, and I feel like chill. chill. Like, it's not whatever is going on that making you so uncomfortable, it's not what you think for some reason, I'm compelled to say. I feel like you just calm down because I feel like this isn't the level of nervousness or just discomfort you have about this issue is not warranted. Like, it's going to be fine. That's what I want to say. It's going to be fine. The Lover's card that I see is there's some kind of an interference in something, and the King of Wands comes in and actually grounds you. As soon as I got that King of Wands card, I felt like grounded you. So I want to see if mom is alive. Yeah, I don't know if there's something. Hey Heidi, how are you? I don't know if there's something with mom or something, maybe her health or something. I'm seeing just like something going on there. I'll maybe give her a call or something. And then I have the Nine of Cups, which is actually a card of celebration, of wealth, of abundance. So if you're worried about a situation this evening, what I'm going to tell you is it works out better than you think it's going to work out. Whoever King of Wands is, I feel almost like that's your hubby. He's very grounding to you in this situation. It's going to be fine. You're actually going to be surprised. Could also be your son. I feel like you're going to be very surprised with the outcome with whatever you're worried about because it's actually a very, very good outcome. But definitely get in touch with mom because there's something there that just feels a little wonky to me. So I think, definitely get that going. All right. Um, okay. Yeah, there's some kind of weird, I don't want to say weird, but it's just like I can feel the unsettled energy. And I don't feel like you need to be so unsettled. Everything's going to be fine. I need to pick one more card for confirmation. Yeah, I got the Judgment card. There's definitely something going on with health for you or mom. I think it's mom. I think you're worried about maybe your health, but something with mom. Um, but it's a new beginning. This is like a rebirth, new beginning. I know you've had some things going on with your own health, Gina. If you're worried about that, that's going to be absolutely fine. But I do think something's up with mom and maybe just, check out how she's doing. Okay. All right. That's for Gina. Gonna pick a card now I'm gonna pick a card for Heidi because I haven't seen Heidi on in a long time and she probably needs a card. Hope everything's okay with you. Heidi is a Reiki provider up in Saratoga. So if you're up in that area, look up Heidi Elizabeth. Okay, Heidi, we got the Eight of Wands. So that's an action card. So I don't know when your birthday is, but for some reason I feel like you might be around now. Action card for you. If you read tarot, the Ten of Wands is the only card in the tarot deck which does not have any figures or people on or anything. It's totally an action card. The wands are all going in one direction with new growth. Some people even refer to this as Aries energy, and we're in that beautiful Aries time now. And then I have the Two of Wands. Wow, a lot of wands. You got a lot of action going on in your life, hon. So Two of Wands is the energy which is so perfect for what we're in right now in the universe. This is an energy of looking out to the future, being able to see the future. You've got the world in your hands. You're dreaming. You're able to manifest. So what I'm going to say to you with these two cards and in feeling your energy, everybody feels so sparkly tonight and like either hyped up or really like in a good place. But I feel everyone's energy speeded up. The Two of Wands is an energy that you can manifest. And right now, anything that you're dreaming, you can really manifest. Very heightened for you. I can feel it in your energy field. So make sure that you're keeping your thoughts pure and that the things that you really want, you're acting and you are in action with alignment. Meaning that, to give you a silly example, like, oh, I want a new car. You're going to make sure you're saving your money. You're doing that. You're showing the universe, I'm on the path to getting a new car. Whatever, and I'm just using that as a silly example, but whatever your dream and your hope is, make sure that you are taking actions that support that to show the universe that's really where you want to go. Because the energy of manifestation I'm getting off you is really high. And then we have the Temperance card. This is a beautiful, beautiful card. This is the card where, again, manifestation, angel wings, angels cup runneth over, the material and the spiritual are coming into alignment. This is a really interesting time for you spiritually as well. I feel like you're opening. And if before we end the show tonight, if I can give everybody out there watching and everybody who's going to watch the video replay, the best thing you can do for everyone in this energy is make sure that you are staying in a positive mindset, but that you're also in a mindset that's in alignment with where you want to go. Don't be in past energy. You've got to be in future. Even when that healing energy comes in to show you something from the past, apply it to the now. Apply it to who you are now. That's like the most important thing. And the other thing I'm going to say is second most important thing, take time for a spiritual practice. This month especially, whether that's walking by the beach or the forest or just staying in quiet, make sure you're doing that because energy is so heightened right now. We can use it, but we have to harness it and we have to ground ourselves. So Heidi, last card for you is actually the Nine of Pentacles, which is also a card of abundance. It's a very maternal card, a nurturing card. I often think of that as like the grandmom or the mom energy of just beautiful, divine feminine coming in. So make sure you ground in nature. Really, really important in this energy to ground in nature because the manifestation quota for you is super high. So I hope all your dreams come true. And Heidi says, you're always spot on, my love. Love and light to you always. Oh, I love you too. Oh, she's getting her Holy Fire Reiki. I love that. And she's looking for a new car. That's so funny. I didn't even know that, but whatever. Spirit speaks. So, really funny. So I'm going to do one more because we've got like 5 minutes left on this show. So Gina says, this will sound strange. The only thing right now that makes me nervous is that I'm not nervous about the changes coming. Everyone seems freaked out, but I'm not. And I'm wondering if I should be. No, I don't think you should be. That's the end. I felt like if you are unsettled about anything, but definitely call mom because I feel like there's something. Mom needs you. Mom wants a little lovin's. Okay. I'm going to pick. Who am I picking now? I'm going to pick. I know everybody wants a card. Whoop. Oh, Sarah said she planted sunflowers today. That is amazing. My favorite. Oh, you're welcome, Heidi. And thank you. Anybody wants Reiki, call Heidi, Elizabeth, and Saratoga. She's actually my niece. My niece by marriage, but like it's really blood. Yeah, the moon. I was going to say, yeah, moon energy also this month is very heightened because the moon's going to pass by all those planets in Pisces and Aries. So I'm going to pull a card for Celeste Lipsky because I have not seen her on here before. I'm going to pull 3 cards really quick for you, Celeste, because the show is running out of time. Okay. Here's the Sleepless Night card, the 9 of Swords. This is always what I call the Sleepless Night card. So if you're dreaming or you're having a lot of dreams, a lot of us are in this energy, it will pass as the night goes on. And then the second card that I got, I forgot to look at it when I pulled it. The second card is the Queen of Swords. That is the Libran energy. So if you had something during the past lunar eclipse in Libra, Celeste, come forward for you. Just keep working with that energy because as the solar eclipse approaches, it's all going to make sense. So that may be what you losing a little bit of sleep over. And then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles coming in to your reading. If you look, he's actually the horse is actually moving away, facing away. You've got the Queen of Pentacles here, and then you've got this beautiful knight on the horse, Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is a grounding energy, is an energy that will come into our lives in order to ground us in something. Again, speaking about manifestation, you really do have the ability to bring in reality, dreams react to reality now. As the month progresses, you're going to find this beautiful Queen of Pentacle energy, that Libran energy of relationship and how we are configured and how we relate to everything in the world. This card tells me you need grounding. So as the month goes, this energy of the sleepless nights or the dreams, vivid dreams is going to dissipate. You're going to start to find your own confidence and agency and learn how to ground yourself even better in nature. If you live by any kind of natural woods or forest, I feel like greenery is very important right now for you. Really go out, plant your feet on the earth, and go out in the greenery. And then the final card for you is one of the most beautiful cards in the deck, which is the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is a beautiful soulmate type of energy that could be coming home to a soulmate relationship with yourself or another. In this spread, I feel and I'm getting the energy of you do some work this month and you've been doing it intensely, but especially since that lunar eclipse. And now you're getting yourself ready to come into a different form of relationship with yourself and others. And this beautiful soulmate card comes in. Also, very important for you to listen to messages when you're sleeping, if you get any dreams that are very vivid, or when you're walking in the forest or the woods or greenery, because this card, the Two of Cups, is a message card. It means that you will be getting messages. This is the symbolization of the Archangel Gabriel, who was the archangel who came down to the Blessed Mother in the Bible and told her baby Jesus was going to be born. So the story goes. So in tarot, we always think of that as the messenger, Archangel Gabriel. It's also a Mercury card. The Mercury retrograde may bring you messages from the past. So just look out for that. Mercury retrograde for all of us this month. Past energy comes in to bring us to the future. So that's our show for tonight. If you enjoyed it, please tune in every Monday at 7. You can share the show on all your media if you'd like. It's free. And also, you can watch replays on Zencuda on YouTube and Spotify and every podcast platform that we have. As a matter of fact, if you have Alexa, you can even ask Alexa, please, Alexa, play The Soul Space with Georgia Rose, and you'll hear my latest broadcast. Thanks so much, everybody. I look forward to bringing you back into the Soul Space next Monday night at 7. Until then, I hope you enjoy your own soul space and connect with your own soul and its intentions. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.